Hello everybody, welcome to the Enigma Show. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a new video. I know I've been gone for a little while, but I took a little trip to Las Vegas and I'm going to share some of that with you now. Let's go to Las Vegas. Yeah, Las Vegas, it was a pretty nice trip all in all. It was hot. I will never go in September again, but me and my girlfriend went on a Thursday, and we stayed for 2 days. We came home on a Saturday. We stayed at the Vidara Hotel, which all in all, it's a pretty nice hotel. But I have two words for you, Vidara: room service. Yes, they don't offer room service. The hotel themselves are suites, pretty much all of them. Even the most basic hotel is a suite. You know, they have a mini bar. You go into the room, you go walk through the kitchen. Has the blinds that retract up and down, press of a button, and the bathroom's pretty nice. Has a separate tub and shower, and all in all, I give this hotel probably about a 7 or 8. It's conveniently close to the Strip. Now, our first night on the Strip was pretty cool. I mean, given it being COVID, there was a good amount of people, not too much on Thursday. Everyone wearing masks, thankfully. And we took a stroll down the Strip, and in the main strip of Vegas, it's not a whole lot to see. Once you've gone to the casinos, once you walk around, it gets kind of boring. And another thing I want to let you guys in on, there are no shows at this time. All of the shows, unfortunately, were returned in November. We didn't learn that until we got there. I didn't bother to check. I know that was bad on my part, but we were looking forward to see Cirque du Soleil, Humanity, but the show is not going to start until November 2nd, so those of you who are going in November, lucky you. Now, on Thursday night, the first place we went, we wanted to try this restaurant called Gallagher's. It's a New York restaurant in New York, of course, and it's quite pricey, so if you're not looking to spend at least $200 to have a meal, I would stay away from these places. But we decided to go to Gallagher's because my girlfriend wanted to go and I wanted to take her, and this is not going to be a regular occurrence. This is a one-time thing, and yes, it was expensive. Was it worth the price of admission? I don't know. The food was okay. I've had better at places that were less expensive, but I don't know. Maybe it's because of the COVID season. They're not giving it their best. But the service was excellent, though. I mean, the waiter was very detailed in the menu and the entrees, and I gave him a pretty hefty tip. We ended our night at the Cosmopolitan at the Chandelier Bar. It's a nice place to have drinks, and they also have a nice rooftop bar there, which we did not go to. But we ended up going to the hotel room around 3 a.m. We had a late start the next day. And we went to Tom's Urban, which is also in New York. Obviously, New York has nice restaurants because we went there twice to eat. And we went to the Mob Museum later on during the day. The Mob Museum is located near Fremont Street, which is old Las Vegas downtown. And we also went there later that night, and I'll get into that. So Friday afternoon, we headed to the Mob Museum, which is pretty interesting. The museum itself used to be an old federal building / post office. And when I went there, I kind of got that vibe of it being a federal building as soon as we walked through the doors. Now, the museum has 4 floors. The 4th floor being the main part of the museum, the exhibit, where it gives you the history of the mob from the 1900s to the present. It talks about the infamous Murder Inc., a group of Jewish hitmen hired by the commission to carry out various high-profile hits. And there's a display of some of those high-ranking hits, like Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, who helped start the Flamingo Casino in Las Vegas. He was murdered in Los Angeles, June 20th, 1947. Crazy Joe Gallo murdered in New York City, April 7th, 1972, at Umberto's Clam House in Little Italy. And I think a lot of us know about the Paul Castellano and Tommy Bilotti hit in New York City, December 16, 1985, in front of Sparks Steakhouse in Midtown, which was orchestrated by the Teflon Don himself, John Gotti, who became the boss of the Gambino crime family. We skipped the third floor and went right to the second floor to the crime lab, where we got to perform an autopsy and figure out how the person was killed and what weapons were used. We also performed a DNA analysis to match up the DNA of a person that committed sexual assault on various women. We also performed a ballistics analysis on a bullet to match it up with a gun that committed another murder. I have to also add that my girlfriend was pretty good at the autopsy. She figured out what the bruises and abrasions and what caused the wounds, if it happened before the person was dead or after. And I was a little bit sharper when it came to ballistics and the DNA. But we worked together as a team, and it was fun and educational at the same time. To end the tour, we went down to an actual working moonshine distillery and tried out 3 moonshines from the Prohibition era. I have to say that was one of the strongest shots I've ever tried. There was also a second one that when they started to add flavor to it, and I have to say the second one was the best one. And then there was a third one that was developed like around the 1930s. We're also given a history on how moonshine was created and how the mob distributed moonshine to speakeasies, which were clubs during the time, and how they forced people to buy moonshine even if it was bad, and people were using cough medicine in lieu of alcohol because people really wanted to get drunk, and they would get drunk off of anything that had alcohol in it, and I thought that was very interesting. Last but not least, downtown Las Vegas, Fremont Street, old Las Vegas, segregated part of Las Vegas. Bright lights, zip lining. Normally they'd have bartenders in bikinis, but I don't show this on the video, but they still have them there. Bands would be playing, but because of COVID, I guess they got rid of the live bands. Up close and personal, everything you envision when you think about a Las Vegas. Very different from the main strip. To me, the main strip is very bland. And once you've gone into the casinos and looked around, there's nothing else to do. It's a lot more livelier down here. You have entertainers in these little circles. Sometimes these entertainers are nefarious looking characters. To me, other than the Las Vegas shows, which are not going on right now, they won't be back until November 2nd, by the way. The only reason for me to come to Las Vegas is to visit Fremont Street. And this place is fun. You'll all see some weird characters, because I remember last year when I came, I saw a person dressed up like the Joker from the Christopher Nolan movies, like Heath Ledger. And you'll see crazy shit like that. And it's a lot more down to earth. And for me, I kind of feel more comfortable, believe it or not, being in Fremont Street than being on the Strip. Well, you guys, this ended our trip. We staggered back to the room about 4 a.m. And I have to say, we had a good time. Well, you guys, that's my video. I hope it was informative. Like, share, and subscribe. Once again, this is Eddie Enigma. You have been enigmified, and I will see you in the next one. And travel safe, everyone.